Welcome back to the channel. um, I am Shay Seeking from American Aborigines Unchained here on YouTube and Facebook. So, this image is of a young male. Okay, it looks like his name is Kadu. And he is a habitant, Des Isles, Carolina, or Des Isles, Carolina, right? There's some other stuff here. I can't really read it. It's really small. It says something at lith, probably for lithograph, por or per Christ. Lith the langlum is kind of what it looks like to me. Okay. So again, we're going to go ahead and go in on this. And remember, I'm not here to tell you what it is or what it ain't. I'm just simply sharing what it looked like to me. Okay. So that we can reflect on things. So some of this stuff may not be, again, about us personally, but it's all about you, even when it comes to the foreign entities or inhabitants or dwellers or aliens or immigrants, indigenous, you know what I'm saying? So it all goes hand in hand so that we can see the whole spectrum of the story. Because if we're just going in with our lens closed, we're doing the same thing that these people have done, right? So again, sometimes you have to know where other people stand so that you can see where you're at, okay? So yeah, so we're going to go ahead and look at this because habitant is what struck me, because normally they talk about inhabitants, okay? So, and you know, there's always some difference, okay? So it says habitant in etymology. Late 15th century, a dweller, okay? All right? So a dweller, a resident, okay? And this is the noun, okay? Um, which is supposedly speaking of person, place, or thing. But again, I've learned that I just go with the guides. They show me the way. Because again, the way that they taught us in school was a way to conform or form your thoughts and opinions. Because again, we know that educate means to almost have something leave or take something out and basically fill it or put something else in, or to train, or these type of things is what you're sending your children to school. See, again, because it doesn't change. See, just because they're giving us the perception that it looked like something else, right? Is all conditioning them to become slaves for this particular system. And it's worse for us because, again, everyone else has some form of something where you have nothing and you support their something. Okay. So, again, it's important for us to know this and, again, pass this on to our children so that they know better in the future. Okay. So, it's talking about Old French habitant. Okay. So again, Old French is going to remind me of the French dealing with American Aborigines or those in the old world. Again, I know it must mean something else, but again, we do things more on a spiritual flow. Again, I'm just bringing you something so that you can maybe something that you might not have thought of before, so that you can go ahead and expand on it yourself. And again, hopefully find something more than what I'm even sharing with you. Because I kind of see things deeper, but I share them at the surface, right? Because again, I don't know how deep anyone wants to go. Okay. So from noun use of Latin habitantis, genitive. Okay. Anytime we're talking about genitive or anything of that nature, it drives me back to Genesis or genes. So again, to live in, inhabit, or dwell, to have, to hold, or possess. This is what I'm trying to share with you guys. When it talks about woman or women, that is talking about the group of people that have been taken as prisoners of war, or a type of serving a type of servitude under a colonizer's rule or reign, okay, due to the fact that they supposedly are the victors, okay. Sometimes they may have just had bigger tools and weapons, and they have been watching you or hovering over you, like in Genesis 1, for a long time to, study you and see how you work, and then put people in, okay, plant seeds, okay, or put people in to spy on you that may look like you or not. See? And then notice how a lot of these stories in the Bible where Moses went to live, no, Aaron went to live for a certain time, or Moses went to dwell with someone for a certain time, a group. Same thing that these foreigners were doing. They were sending people in. Think about Shaka Zulu, how they were sending those people in to stay and, observe what was going on. Think about the Indians, because again, the Old Testament is talking about the old world, period, in my eyes, right? So, uh, yeah, so we're basically talking about the same thing. They just given it to you in a different aspect or outlook so that you don't notice the correlations between the two. So names and things, terms they're using the same terms, but you're not doing the etymology, so you don't know the history of the word. You're just looking at what has been dictated, implanted in your books, in your dictionaries. Again, and what are these dictionaries? Hey, look, I kind of collect dictionaries. I have a thing for them. So, you'll notice that there's some. I found one that was a dictionary, the American Dictionary. Then they have Webster's, but the Webster's and all those other ones are the ones that we more than likely used in school. And then I noticed that etymology, it really doesn't have a name on it. I'm really about to buy one, actually, actual, because that's the only thing I find everything else but etymological um, books or dictionaries. um, so yeah, I'm just gonna have to break down and just get one. Okay, y'all. So anyhow, it says, even though, like my soul sibling always says, Kishran, okay? And if you guys haven't subscribed to his channel, you probably should, okay? He's very knowledgeable as well when it comes to terms and words, and he really doesn't have um, a lot of subscribers for the work that he does, okay? So, again, check him out. So, and I hope it's okay. Well, he told me to use his name to put it on in the group or whatever. But yeah, so I hope it's okay. So anyhow, let's keep going. So this is what I'm telling you about the wedlock, okay? Or having a child out of wedlock, that it wasn't pertaining every time to I think at all, to someone having a baby without being married. It was you in the wilderness or the wild, caring about minding your own business and not conforming or joining to be a citizen of the United States, which then has you turn over your rights again, especially when we're talking about this voting stuff, giving up your rights, your Indian rights. See, because a lot of things go on at the same. When you look at the timeline, always look at what happened in your so-called history and what they're calling Native American or American Indian history. In that same year, around the same time that these things have been passed, bills and acts and stuff, treaties, and you can see it all together, right? Now that we know who we are. So anyhow, so this was about oh, I also just shared something on my Facebook page or in the group from Shay. Okay, you'll see it. I don't like to use people's full name in case they didn't want me to. This is why I just tag things soul sibling share and leave their name on the original post so that you can see that it came from this person. Um, just did something explaining more on what was going on in the South and when it was coming to taxing people and what was really going on in the South when it comes to goodness, like voting rights and civil rights and stuff like that. Okay. And he was talking about how they wanted them to register their businesses in their land, in their property, in their land. But again, we're looking at it as their land and property, or their slaves, or because that's property too, right? Those are the assets too. Okay. So again, when we're talking about these people, is to have and to hold. This is the wedding that we're talking about. They have given us this false notion of marriage in order to cover up what we're really talking about in the biblical text. That's all I can think. Okay. Okay, so when they say that your woman need to be silent in church, it's not talking about a female, because at that point in time, women were a collective for all the people that were on a land that they were coming to join with, or graft into, or seed, or send their semen to seed. And I use these kind of things so that you can, when you're reading these things, it can kind of strike you to stop and slow down and just see what we're really talking about here. Okay, and that's what the whole thing is talking about in Genesis. It's all through the Bible. So again, so it says to give or receive. Again, sickness and then health, and that's what we are, sick. See, the other groups may be healthy in a sense, even though they've been lied to as well, but you are not well, okay, as a whole, period. Okay, so a native Canadian of French descent again. So this is bringing me even to the French descent. And where were these people? See, they talk about the history as if you should look to France. But all the things that I think they're talking about pertaining to the Americas had something to do with the people coming from the north, meaning Canada. Let's think Pangea again. The north and the northeast. How far are we from that landmass? What is going on really? See, so yeah. So I think that a lot of the stuff that was going on, we want to look to the south, thinking, them Spain and stuff coming in through the south. We want to think about the east. We think about the Bering Straits when we think about the west, but what do we really think when it comes to the north? Again, it seems like everything is always, they're connected. Canada is connected to us. We should know more about the dealings between Canada and the Americas than looking in the other direction, like they want you to look to Africa for your mother, and she's right here in America. She is America. She is the earth, or the earth that we talk about in the Bible, and she is your mother, and you come from that which is an organic, and you are the beings that were here, or earthlings, or beings that were here prior to their story in Genesis. That is them using your DNA to form the dust or the dirt, again, the earth, the land, the dry land, all that's talking about people. And you are the dust that they use in order to form them a man to put him in the east of your garden, which happens to be Washington, D.C. Okay? We are just thinking theoretically. But again, it is what it is. Okay? So, give and receive. Let's see. So 1789, and think about it. These French people were darker view people a lot of times, and they blended in with the originals. Okay. Again, so when when in Genesis, when we're talking about let the earth join with the earth, right? That's talking about the American Aboriginals being bred with another foreign entity that looks like them, another form of an Aboriginal. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So let's see. It was the usual word for small farmers, okay, in 18th century Quebec. And again, when they're talking farmers, we're not always talking about farming cattle. We're talking about chattel as well, okay? When we're talking about, it's so many things. Trees, we're not only talking about, when we're talking about the Brazil wood, when we're talking about wood and trees and all that, it's not just talking about the form of a tree that you see today. This is how they've dumbed us down. In America, amongst all of the other nations, no offense, but if it's taken, oh well. These are the words out of their mouth, that we are the most dumbed down when it comes to schools, and people. Okay, meaning it's not our fault that we have been misled, but now again, we can't go back to that. We have to rise. Okay, okay. And as you rise together as one and connect, not having to agree on everything with each other, but just a common fucking ground, and that includes those who are foreign. Okay, you will see. Because again, once we rise, like it says in the text, they will come. Okay? Because everybody waiting on you. The whole damn world waiting on you. Even the originals across the world and other places that are not as well off as you are. I'm sorry, you are here in America. Okay, they have you thinking we're in despair, so you can't concentrate on how to build. You see what I'm saying? Come on now. Go to some of these third world countries and look at what the fuck they got going on there, and see how you living over here. And and that's another thing I want to get into. Not to say we don't have our trials and tribulations, but we have to think. We have to put our heads together, and we have to come up with something different than what the hell they have laid out for us. That is our problem. Lack of knowledge is our problem. But now that we have it, what will we do with it? Are we going to continue to ask and beg and pray and plead with these people, with your government? Okay? Because again, you have been taught in religion, in church, to worship that which is above. And in our case, that is your government, the governing forces of the caste system that are over us in the heavens. That's their heaven, right? So we got to tap into the one within. That's the one in your mind. That's your temple. Okay? The seventh heaven. We're talking about your kundalini and all that shit. It's all there. It's all there. Okay? It's all in the text too, if you know how to read it. Okay? So again, in-habitants. Okay. So let's go ahead and look up this, even though, damn, it was going to be right below. It says to give or receive. Again, when we're talking about these reparations and things like this, I have some stuff to share with you guys because, again, I can't really interpret this well, but I think something's telling me it's important to share it with you guys because I think one of you may be able to. But it's seeming as though reparations have been given. And one of my soul siblings on Instagram, okay, um, she told me, and she's my friend in real life too. So, but anyway, she was saying something about it's already been given, in like food stamps and different ways, you know, Medicare and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, so then yeah, it must be true what I'm reading here. Because that's exactly what I was just reading. That it sounded as if they were saying that these type of things were what reparations is, and that actually we owe them money to. It seemed like what they're saying, and now this is the part that I'm adding, that it seems as though we owe them some type of money or something because they are the victors. So it's very tricky, you know, but I'll share it. Okay. So it says to give or receive, the root is to hold. Okay. To hold. All right. um let's see. We see possess, condition, demeanor, appearance, dress. Um, Old Irish, again, what are we talking about here? I take, have, I have, hold, a gabal or act of taking, armful. So I'm thinking this is talking about something about that arm that's stretched out, or that arm even that we're talking about in the biblical text, okay? To remove. And then it says here, Gothic gabe, riches, okay, to give. Again, booty or spoils, okay? So we've gone there. And so we now know what the inhabitants, wait, which one did we do? We know what the habitant is, okay? Now let's see if we can look at the inhabitant because it's similar, okay? Okay. One who dwells in a place, okay? Now we're getting somewhere, okay? One who dwells in a place as distinguished from a visitor or a transient, okay? I can't, okay, we'll take transient real quick, just in case we have time towards the end of this. I hope you guys are appreciating the fact that I'm trying to make these videos a little bit shorter, which also causes me to stumble a little bit more because I'm trying to rush, but it's okay. Okay, so inhabitant, okay, to dwell in. All right, so yeah, to dwell in. Okay, and let's look at inhabit. Okay, so inhabiter, to dwell, live in, reside. Okay, to reside. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go into that. Um, Again, to have and to hold. Okay, so we're getting somewhere here. Okay, to give and receive, all those same things. Okay, same thing. And then we see in right here means in, to bring in or in. Okay, into, near, at, within, upon, on, into. So when they say on the surface of the earth or the face of the earth, or where have you been going, in and out of the earth, see all these things, they correlate. One second. Closely acquainted, very familiar. Endo, inside, okay, within. So like an insider. Old Church Slavnik, okay. So we have one more. Okay, to reside. Okay, let's go ahead and go into it. To settle. Okay. To settle. From Middle French resider, 15th century. To sit down, settle, remain behind, rest, linger, or linger. To be left, back again. Let's see. To sit, to dwell permanently, from first attested in 1570, resided, residing, also from resider or residing. Okay, said. Okay, let's see. Sit, nest, rest in place, abode, sat down. See, we're talking this abode of God, huh? A seat, a chair at the table, maybe. Face of geometric solid. Okay, preside. Okay, preside. This is making me think even Haiti. at some point in time. Sit still, fixed, settled, seat. See, grafted in is this maybe? Okay, you see all these different ones here. To plant a garden. See, this is what it's talking about. This is what it's talking about here. Sit. Okay, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. You know, I think we did it in the other video the other day, but let's go ahead and do it again. Let's do it again. We're not going to read the whole thing, but let's do it. Let's do it. Earth, see, or dirt, the soil. All this stuff is talking about some form of Aboriginal or indigenous people. Sedate, calm, or quiet. See, once you look up what it means to till the earth, you'll know why you're in the situation you're in and who ordered it in the first place in Genesis. I'm just saying. Okay. So again, 15th century. Let's just look real quick. Okay. Here's the image again, you know, just in case, whatever. Okay. So when we're talking about be fruitful and multiply, okay, this is the 5th day. Multiply and fill the waters of the seas. Okay, so fill the waters of the seas. So those who came by sea, this is who somebody wanted to fill. Fill them with what? Again, you know, we would have to go all the way into it. Let the birds, again, what did I keep telling you guys? The French coat of arms in France, again, I think they have the same almost bird as we have when it comes to the so-called United States. Okay, so Germany, all these people that had these coat of arms with the fowl, those are representing the fowl of the air. Okay, those are representing the fowl of the air. And then now it's funny that we're talking about Old French right here when most of those terms were coming from. And we're talking about the birds multiply on the earth. Okay. So I wish we can go back and see who he was talking to. Okay. And God said, let the earth bring forth. Now, again, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kind. So let these French people, I don't know if this helps, let these people here, these habitants or inhabitants, okay, bring forth. So that which is foreign, more than likely, and something which is there, or something that is settling and something which is there, okay? So it's talking about let these people multiply. Again, and you think that there's nothing in your bloodline? This whole country was about breeding. It was about amalgamation. It was about mixing and creating. Okay? This whole thing that came to the colonization of the Americas. And the living creatures are the ones who are in God's abode. We just read about the abode because they are flying above you in the expanse. Okay? Okay. So we were doing said, and I wanted to add this in. So the root meaning is to sit. I think we went over that already. But then I noticed that down here we talk about a notch, groove, a slit, calm, quiet. So it's kind of reminding me of to subdue, even like we talk about in Genesis 1. And then it also says the throne. See? So what is the God really for some people? Okay. It said that the Pope is the vicar of Christ. Okay. I don't know where the Jesuits came in, but I'm reading some stuff that have to do with them. Maybe earlier, maybe the same thing, who knows? So it says the throne of a bishop, an archbishop, or a pope. So it says to settle, siege. Now, kind of sound like a papal bull or something to that extent at this point. To sit, sitz bath. Okay. So again, here we go talking about bathing. Okay. And it's talking about the size or soil. Okay. Which is the earth or the dirt, which is indigenous, aboriginal. Okay. Soot. Okay. Supersede. Don't they supersede laws and or acts or things like that? You hear Clinton talking a lot about that. Okay. And then here are some related terms. Matter which settles at the bottom of water or other liquids is the sediment. So again, matter, that dark matter or vapor, okay? sulfur. I'm just, this whole stuff that's coming to me about sulfur and all this other stuff about this, um, just some of these fires, the atmosphere. We live in the Midwest, and just the heat index, and the things that are coming up, and even my neighborhood actually, with this thing that happened last night, about someone being shot. But again, I don't just jump on the bandwagon. I need to look into that a little bit more, because I'll do a separate video on that. But I've seen some strange uh, authority or forces, the forces doing some strange exercises lately within the past couple of months in our area. And it's just funny how this happens. And especially a week or two after we have that riot, one of those emergency broadcast things coming in through the text message about riot. This is not a riot, but this is a warning of something pertaining to if riots break out. It's a, and so instead of an Amber Alert, it's like a riot alert. And I've seen some very strange things. So anyhow, not to get off subject, uh, not to get off subject. So again, that's the matter that settles at the bottom of the water or other liquid. Now think about that, when we're talking about the caste system, and I always show you guys that pyramid. Okay, it's settled at the bottom. Okay, so a settling, a sinking down. See, coming down from your highness. Okay, spiritually, physically, mentally. hmm Okay, um, to settle, to sit, even just to sit your ass down, and don't get back up. I told you guys, when we're looking at those, I can't remember if it's the Tomb of Kings or however they phrase it. But if you look on the walls, even with a lot of other Egyptian work, when there's displayed, when you see different levels, okay, on the walls, and you see some people look like they're imprisoned down at the bottom, and then as you move up, you start to see the fowl of the air and the beast of the field and all that other stuff, okay, and that will be an admixture, okay, of that what was original, that was taken out, the fruit that was harvested, or the produce or whatnot that was harvested from seeding the Americas in other places. Okay, so it also says to sedate. See, this is reminding me of subdue. Okay, in 1660. We're going to go into something in a second, so I don't want to take you there when it comes to this. In biblical text in the sixth day, in the fifth day, again, I do both just because of that whole thing of the, okay. So tending to calm or soothe, calming, okay. Yeah. So anyhow, and then there was one more that I noticed that I needed to add that I didn't do, okay? Because they're going to have you sit down, right? So then at the bottom, because earth is the footstool, remember? Heaven is the abode. That's the hierarchy in the caste system. And earth is the footstool, okay? Remember the George Washington Illuminati image that we share on this channel a lot. You can Google it. The black and white checkerboard floor, okay? So anyhow, and then here you go here, preside. From French presidir, again, since we're going back to the 1600s or the sixth or fifth day, this reminds me, again, like I was saying, something about French Haiti is coming to mind. Again, I think I might have heard someone recently say something about Haiti was a huge empire, or one of the first or the earliest. So again, I still think that that is still earliest, meaning that it was the earth that was joining with the earth in Genesis 1. Okay. So again, to govern, okay, or even when we're talking about even South America, Brazil, Colombia, I mean Cuba, um, where we're seeing a lot more darker view people, darker pigmented people that are abusing the people that look to seem like them. The phenotypes are different. I can tell because I'm really good with faces and stuff. But yeah, you can tell that there's a difference. And those are happen to be the overseers. See, overseers didn't always look the way that they show you how they did in the South. Again, some of them were so-called white Africans or lighter pigmented Africans, things like this, okay? But some of them were dark. So, again, it says preside over. Okay, so this is what the president does when it comes to the Americas. Sit in front of or on top of. Okay. The first, the head, see, the head of the state would be first. Okay. Um, yeah, to sit in front of or on top of. Okay. Not within, right? Okay. So meaning uh so yeah, so pre would be in front of. So they put themselves in front of you or on top of you or ahead of you. Again, meaning head of state. And the firmament or the abode is just that level of society that is that have been put on high. Okay, and you don't even realize that you're worshiping them, because the way that they taught you in religion to worship is actually worshiping them in their system, not the superior god or goddess within, or that source that you are normally organically connected to. Because again, everything that's inside of you has been removed and placed outwardly as idol worship or worshiping of other beings, even celebrities in the entertainment, to enter the mind and obtain the space, I always say. So entertainment, again, and they make a mockery of it by putting signs and symbols in movies, and things like this. Okay. So again, beyond, in front of. Okay. So again, I want to go ahead and, so again, was there something powerful going on in Haiti, or Mu, the land of Mu, or whatever it's called? Um, see, before. Okay, so I think that was it. Let's go ahead and cut this out, and the rest of the video should play.